So, in the previous few topics, we have seen how a vulnerability can exist on a website and how hackers can exploit it to gain access to the database of a website. But now, let's see how hackers or security experts can gain access to the server on which the website is hosted. Now, if you remember in Module 2, we had discussed the concept of shared hosting. And in that, we had seen that by attacking a website B, one can take control of the complete server and then reach website A, or for that matter, any other website hosted on this server. So this clearly means that getting access to the server is even more harmful than getting access to the database of one particular website, right? But how do we get into a server? Think a little. Yes, we need to first attack a website and then crawl into the server that hosts it. Let's get down to business now and see how it is done. So, these are a few ways in which a server can be infected. Uploading a malicious program or script on the server to gain complete access via a backdoor. Injecting commands in the web application software. Finding and exploiting an existing backdoor. Exploiting a software running on the server which has a known vulnerability. Cracking the password of remote control services like FTP, Telnet, SSH, RDP, etc. Hacking another server connected to the server of interest and then exploiting them. But in this topic, we will look at just this one method. We will look at a few others in the upcoming modules. Let's see how it's done. Now here, as you can see, this web application wants us to upload our resume. But the type of file it wants is a PDF file. So, let's upload a sample PDF and see what happens. As you can see, as soon as the file is uploaded, a download link appears against the uploaded file. This means that we can download the file back. Simple. Looks like there is no loophole here. But we are security experts and rather pseudo hackers, and we don't play by the rules. So let's see if this website allows us to upload any other type of file like a JPEG or a text or maybe a PHP. PHP, as you know, is server-side programming language, and it is used to execute commands on the server, right? What if we can upload a PHP file and make the server do something? Well, let's try. So here, we have a sample PHP file with simple hello world code. Now let's upload this file. Here, the file is uploaded. So the first flaw is that despite asking for PDF file, the web application lets us upload files in other formats too. Not a very secure logic, we must say. So now, here is the download link. But we know that a PHP file is always executed and not downloaded, right? So let's click on this link and see what happens. Oh, the code actually got executed. So this means that we can upload any kind of PHP file and maybe make the server do some other things. This is definitely a vulnerability, and it is called an arbitrary file upload vulnerability. So if a website lets us upload any kind of files, we can always check if it is vulnerable to arbitrary file uploads. So we have tested for this vulnerability, but now let's do a penetration test and see how much more we can exploit it. This time we will upload another PHP file with this code. Let's see what this code means. As you can see, we have used a function here and a command inside it. Now, just like echo function prints any value that is passed inside it, similarly, the exec function in PHP is used to execute Windows or Linux commands directly and print the response. While the whoami command is used to show the current user like administrator, guest, root, etc. Now let's upload it and see if it works. Yes, it does. And here we can see the kind of user we are. So, if you open your command prompt in your system and type whoami, you will get your username as the result. But here, since we are running the command through the server software, which in this case is Nginx, hence we get the Nginx user. What is important to know is that if we get root for Linux or NT-authority/system for Windows or administrator as the output of the whoami command, it means we have complete administrative control of the server. So look out for this command. Now, just like this, there are numerous commands that we can run on the server. But first, we need to identify if it is a Windows-based or Linux-based server. Since most commands in PHP are specific to only one of these servers, the whoami command got executed because it is used for both Windows and Linux servers. So coming back, we need to identify what server it is. Let's see how we can do it. Let's look at this PHP code. Now here, we have the shell_exec function, which does the same work as the exec function we looked at earlier. Now, let's look at this command that is being passed here. As you will remember, this $_get is used to get this value here when it is passed. And since the function is shell_exec, this value that will be passed will get executed. Now, since this is a get based request, we can enter this value of cmd in our URL ourselves. Let's upload this file. Now let's run this file. As you can see in the URL, we can now insert our command as a get parameter. Now here, we can use either of these commands to identify the type of server. These commands let us see if the server is Windows or Linux based. dir is for Windows and ls is for Linux. Now pass the ls command. As you can see, we get some files here. This means that the server is Linux based. But now what do? We do not know Linux, but worry not. Because the hacker community is a well-established one and they have created this thing called PHP web shells. They are codes of PHP that allow us to interact with any type of server without knowing many Linux or Windows commands. Here is a list of some of these shells. In the next video, we will see how we can get access to these shells and use them to extract crucial information.